Hi there, welcome to the channel and welcome back. If you're a return viewer, you're watching the Christchurch Review of Books and I'm Kerry. Today, another book haul. Now, much like the last month's book haul, it's going to be a little bit of an anemic diet-sized one because of reasons, circumstances beyond my control. Basically, I'm not spending the money and I, in return, are not getting the books that I would usually be buying. Well, if I had the habit like I used to anyway. Only two books came my way this month. I'm not holding out for any more before the end of the month. It's 27th of February, so it looks like the rest of the month is going to be a new book free. So without further ado, I'll just launch into what I've got. So first of all, a couple of weeks ago, this arrived, my first pay packet for my new job that you may have heard me mentioning. Some of it went to this book, Chris Aubeck, Sources. Now, Aubeck is a great historian who looks at the paranormal and unexplained or whatever, but he usually looks at it at a different angle than the usual shysters in the topic. He's more of a historian, and he looks at things differently than his book that I read previously, Alien Artifacts, looked at the idea of aliens in in the culture and history and whatever, rather than actual alien artifacts, as the title may suggest. And likewise, this book on Sources looks at the historical and cultural idea of sources, circular flying saucers. And an interesting statistic in the opening chapter is he mentions that of all the supposed UFO sightings in up to 1996, I believe, only 2% reported were actually saucer-like, but we still have this image of the saucer as the representation of UFO, and that really isn't the case anymore. And he basically posits that there was a 50-year period where saucers were the hot thing, and we're out of the end of that now, and anything goes, basically. So in this book, he looks back through those 50 years and delves back even further into history, into historical mythology and accounts and legends and what have you, about saucer-shaped craft, circular craft, how it came into our culture and what it means. And it's a really interesting looking book. I haven't actually read any of it yet, but it's usual as with Aubeck's books. He has lots of illustrations. Some of them look like stock footage, some of them look like AI generated stuff. There's a lot of interesting looking pictures in it just to keep you interested in between the text. It doesn't look like it's one of his more wordier books, but it does look interesting, and I'll be reading this one very soon, I hope, all going well. So that was Sources, plural, by Chris Aubeck. Now, this one was available at Amazon. I haven't seen it available anywhere else, but I'm sure it is. So I think it is self-published or at a small publishing press, so that may limit its availability, but you know, seek it out if you have an interest in this story. Aubeck's always worth the cover price. Now, from one extreme to another, the other book that came my way is the Saga Volume 11. This is the 11th collected volume of the Saga comic book series, I suppose we can still call it. I was almost about to say graphic novel, but Saga is actually still a comic book that comes out, I think, every 2 months. I've never bought it like that. I don't think I've ever actually seen the comic book version. For about 10 years I've been buying these collected editions, floppies, soft covers, whatever you want to call them. I was a little late to start with the hype train on Saga. It took me a couple of years. I think it actually started in the comic book form in 2012 and became massive, big selling, critically acclaimed. So around 2014 I decided to have a look at what it was all about, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the story. That's kind of I'm sure if you're familiar with Saga, you know what it is. It's kind of like a down-to-earth, gritty kind of space opera, science fiction type thing, which when it all boils down, it is really about family and family relationships and that type of thing, with the backdrop of interstellar war and crazy characters, mercenaries and government agents and aliens and all that type of thing. There's a lot of innovative design work. You don't see your standard spaceships and ray guns and this. Everyone's a little weird. Everything's a little weird. And it's very violent, and it can be also sexually explicit in parts, which got it into trouble early on in its run. What I like to say about Saga is that 6 issues a year, I believe, and then they collect them in these floppies, these collected editions. I just like to say that really, I think it is treading water a bit lately. It went on a hiatus for a number of years, from about 2019 to 2020, 22 or something. And I'm not sure it's actually recovered its mojo, if you like, since then. It's kind of... I just feel like not a huge amount of things happen in 6 months, in 6 issues worth of stuff anymore. And I'm just worrying, is it going to be another decade before they actually wrap this thing up? I mean, I still enjoy it, but, you know, it just seems to be meandering along. I mean, the big developments maybe have already happened, maybe there's more to come, but it just feels like we're just going through the motions in some of it. I mean, and the gap between these collector's editions is such that I actually forget some of the details. So I don't have easy access to the earlier ones to actually reread them. So, you know, it's a little bit of a mystery getting back into them, remembering who's who and what's what. Like I said, it's well written and it's well illustrated. I just don't know if I'll keep up with Saga for another decade. So that is probably it for this month. It's, like I said, it's the 27th of February. It's the end of the month. Should I waffle on about my life? Maybe not, maybe. Basically, I think I said in the last review book I did, Hyperion Omnibus, I've started this new job. I was in training in it for 5 or 6 weeks. We're still in a different form of training. We're hitting the front line, basically, and it's nerve-wracking and scary, what I'm doing. I've done jobs partially like that before, but it has a different element. It has a high complication factor, if you want to call it, and you know, you've got to be ready to go in. My team, the small team that I've become part of since training, invaluable. We just help each other out, and I just worry that when we come to be rostered on at different times, we'll lose that. And yeah, so I'm clinging to that as we keep it anyway. And beyond that, other things are still happening in my life which you probably don't need to know about. So we'll leave it there. So that is the very short, the very sweet book haul for February 2024. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back with more next month. Hopefully a little bit more, but who knows what's going to happen. I certainly don't. See ya.